Mike Moore Media, the first place to hear Rockingham County news and information.
This program is sponsored by Carter's Auto Repair and Exhaust. On our media line, Neville Hall, the mayor of Eden. Hey, Mayor, how you doing?
Hey, Mike. Good afternoon. I'm doing good. Hope you are.
I'm doing well. Good week around the city. Busy week with that TV commercial in Uptown Eden, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a pretty large undertaking with so many merchants involved and citizens and visitors, too, coming in to make that commercial. What appears to be, hasn't been released yet, but I'm assuming it's the parts I've seen are incredible. So, yeah, it was a long day there down in Uptown Eden. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that finished product.
I am too. Yeah, I couldn't get a parking place. The street was packed, and we've had some really pretty days this week. So, a lot of people out and around shopping local,
yeah.
And in Uptown Eden for sure.
Yeah, that day we had, what they sometimes refer to as Chamber of Commerce weather.
Yeah, that's right. That's
the weather was perfect. It's what you put on the picture on the brochure. So, yeah, that turned out good.
Yeah. Well, can't wait to see that when it's all edited and put together. Now, let's talk a little bit about one thing. I know we mentioned this a couple of times because this came up at the Eden City Council meeting, but kind of all came together here at the February meeting. The newly formed Parks, Open Space, and Greenway Commission. Have I got the name of that right?
Yeah, you got it. That's it.
Okay. Well, 4 people nominated and approved for that, and I've got the names here if we want to go over those. But what is this commission all about? Why do we need something like this?
Well, it's an effort to involve the community in guiding our Parks and Rec department and into what the community feels is important. There's obviously been a shift in youth sports and youth activities in general, and for that matter, the adult leagues that used to be around years ago have all faded away, and the Parks and Rec is trying to discover their identity and what they need to be focusing on. So we have decided to create this commission to get input from citizens in the community, various ages, various interests, and just have a mix of personalities to send out what they would like to see the Parks and Rec and the trails become. So it gives us community an opportunity to have input into that.
Yeah. Well, it's a great idea, and I think you used the words public engagement, I think, in one of maybe the last meeting. But so Carla McDonald, Matt Warren, Ed Wilson, and Roy Frazier are all on that commission. And, I'm always interested in the different boards and committees, and, the tree board and the Historic Preservation Commission. Someone was appointed to that at this month's meeting, and all of those are important, aren't they, just to get people involved?
Yeah, and it gives you an opportunity to have a voice on these different boards. Some of them are more active than others, and some of them require more decision-making, obviously, like the Planning and Zoning Board. They have decisions to make as far as uses of properties as well as other things. But each of the boards have a function that the city needs, and the city needs them to continue to operate and provide the services that we do. So, yeah, we really appreciate the people who volunteer to serve on those boards.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, we certainly do. One thing I wanted to mention, too, looks like this came up in the recent meeting. Looks like we're making some progress on the Matrimony Creek Nature Trail. So, Mayor, bring us up to date on that, finally.
Yeah, that's the one out off of Washington Street on the west side of town that had suffered flooding damage about a year ago, maybe longer. But we were trying to get approval to repair the thing, and we kept running into different hurdles as far as what environmental impacts we would have and who had the authority to allow us to move the dirt back that could possibly change the natural flow of the stream of the water. So that sat around or was batted around for several months, and we finally got, as you heard in the last council meeting, we finally got the word that the permits that we needed are going going to be available to allow the work to go ahead and proceed. So we can now begin working on getting it reconstructed, and hopefully it'll stay there for forever. But we won't have another 100-year flood every year like we did a couple of years ago.
Yeah, 100-year floods back to back. Yeah.
Yeah. So if we can get that put back, and people are really using it and enjoying it. As a matter of fact, people are using it now, but it's only open 3/4 of the way, so you go out and turn around. But the last quarter mile is the most impressive part. It's out where you can see the old rock, the dam where the old mill was.
And the waterfall, it's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's nice to get all the way to the end. So
yeah.
Hopefully we'll have that back and running soon, I hope.
I hope so, too. Well, of course, I haven't been on that end because it's been closed. But is the waterfall that we remember before that last flood, is that still intact, or did all of that change too?
It is. I haven't personally walked down there, but yeah, I mean, from what I understand from the public works guys, yeah, everything's there. It's just the bank washed out where the trail was. The benches and everything are still there. They're safe. We just need to build the bank back up and put some new top on the Greenway kind of thing.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, a lot of people out this week. It seemed to be really busy, and we're so fortunate here in Eden to have so many trails and Freedom Park and Smith River Greenway and just all of those. So, yeah, now people are even more likely with the weather getting better to get out and enjoy those. Yeah, and all the river access points.
It's a goal of ours to continue to add to those Greenway accessibility places, and that's part of what that commission is going to be looking at.
Okay.
Where's the next place you want to have a trail or a bike trail or that kind of thing, something for recreation. So they'll be looking into that stuff too.
Okay. So we'll be hearing from them from time to time. While we're on this end of town talking about Matrimony Creek Nature Trail, the last standing business finally closed in the old shopping center, the old WinnDixie shopping center, when Dollar General just opened. And I saw someone had posted some Facebook pictures the other day that, wow, just terrible looking. But we remember when it was in full swing and everything was there, and we're kind of reminiscing the other day about some of the businesses that had been there that we'd enjoyed, thinking about Pizza Station, and, of course, we miss WinnDixie on this end of town. Now, what's the latest on that shopping center? That's still owned by that guy in Greensboro that doesn't seem to really care. Yeah.
And he won't maintain the property, and even when he has tenants in there, he doesn't do the minimum that they need to be able to stay open. I think that's why, I think Dollar General closed for a while several months ago with mold issues, like was reported to me. But the lack of maintenance just totally destroyed the life of that shopping center, and I hate it too because that side of town really supported a grocery store and could do that again, I'm sure. But and I miss the pizza station, the buffet.
Yeah, I do too.
But, yeah.
I could have, if I'd have been real energetic, I could have walked to that one, but I never did. But it's close on this end. Are you in contact with him, or do you see any progress there? Or
no, I haven't. As far as I know, he's keeping his taxes paid. They have no reason that nothing. I mean, I'm sure planning and zoning have issues with him that they make him address. But as far as me personally dealing with him, I never have. I've only heard that the people who have tried to communicate with him have not had much success, including his tenants that were in those properties.
Yeah, well, that's a shame. Okay, well, let's talk about something positive. Back to Uptown Eden, the old Duke Power building. Looks like some action there with Carpino Investments.
Yeah, he's the investor who's doing the Central Hotel renovation, and he closed on the old Duke Power building on Monroe Street. And speaking with him, his intentions are to divide it into 3 two-bedroom condominium units as opposed to apartments like the hotel will be. These will be condominiums that will be actually sold and owned by individual owners for each of the 3 units.
Okay.
And then keep a little space in the front for retail use is what his plan is. He's presented those plans to Kelly Stoltz, and I think that they're about ready to start construction.
Oh, that's great. That building has been sitting there for a long time. Needs a lot of work too, doesn't it?
It does. Again, that was an owner that lived out of town. I think he lived in Charlotte and had no desire to remodel it or anything. And I think it's been tied up in sort of his family not wanting to sell it. But finally, after 20 years of being vacant, Carpino was able to get it and has a good-looking plan for it.
Oh, that's great. Okay. So many good things happening in Uptown Eden and all over the city. And, of course, we had the news just this week about Nestle Purina and their big donation to the Rockingham County Animal Shelter and dog food and cat litter and pet shelter blankets. And they're going to be a good corporate citizen, aren't they?
I really believe they will. And as a matter of fact, they have started taking some applications for some of the positions. So we're starting to see some activity there. And, they're going to be a huge asset for our community. And I'm so glad we were able to get them to come here.
I am too, yeah. Well, that's some things I want to talk about. Back to you, Mayor. Anything particular we needed to cover before we wrap up?
Let's see. Like I told you, it's been a sort of a slow month with the city, and our city council meeting was brief. As we discussed, it was on Zoom. We don't like to do that, and we expect in March to be able to go back to in-person.
Good.
And, so we're looking forward to that. And just, I would mention that we talked about some of the things going on in Uptown Eden, but there are a couple of vacant buildings on the boulevard that have been getting right much interest within the past month or so. So we're expecting that as the buildings in Uptown are all occupied, people are going to be looking elsewhere. And we're excited that the boulevard looks like they're going to have some positive activity coming soon, and we hope the same thing happens with Draper. So,
oh, that's great news.
Get all of them occupied would be great.
Yeah, I've heard about the interest there on the boulevard with some things. So, yeah, that's more good news. Okay.
Yeah.
Mayor, it's always good to talk to you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mike. Have a good weekend.
You do, too. If I don't see any before, I'll see you at the next, see you actually there in person, hopefully, at the next city council meeting in March. Okay.
Well, let's keep our fingers crossed.
I'm ready for it. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye. That's our mayor in Eden, Neville Hall. Our program is sponsored by Carter's Auto Repair and Exhaust. Charles Carter has his place there on Kings Highway in Eden. He has over 30 years of experience. All of his mechanics are well qualified to do the job right for you. Quality work, affordable prices. They specialize in exhaust, custom and stock exhaust, all automotive work. Automotive work of all kinds. I think you'll find they can do it right there at Carter's Auto Repair and Exhaust, Kings Highway in Eden, open Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5. Thank you, Charles, for sponsoring the mayor's program. I've got just a minute left, so let me go over the list, kind of staying with our Eden theme. The city, actually Cindy Adams, with tourism and special events and projects here in Eden, has released her schedule of events for 2021, if you haven't heard. So I've got time enough to just go over that, so get your calendar ready and check these off. Spring Grown and Gathered, May 20th. Piedmont Pottery Festival, June 5th. Oink and Ale, June 19th. Shaggin' on Fieldcrest, July 24th. Summer Grown and Gathered, August 12th. Touch a Truck, August 21st. Riverfest, September 17th and 18th. Heritage and Heroes, October 16th. And Winterfest, December 4th. Yes, the governor making some restrictions lifting this week, and so things are looking better. Let's hope we can get out and enjoy a lot more events all around our city and around our county as well, and the state too. Let's keep on moving out there. Thank you for joining us for the program today. You can get more information at these websites: ExploreEdenNC.com, EdenNC.us, and of course on the city's Facebook page.